A very good morning, Mosalamahle, Sanvusela, Sanamugela, Lomtlaishilin Kusile, Professor. Thank you so much for waking up with us. It is the 19th of January 2023 in Vuselago, Mulungelele Makakula. Kukumbutagos, you can also watch us on YouTube as well as on your phone if you have the Eswatini TV app. Good morning and welcome. So how are you this morning?
All right, Lulu, how are you?
Good. Glad to be here.
Doing great. Just one more day before siyokuyo impela sonto. Bese ke sicala liviki lelikhulu lelitako lekuvulwa kwetikolo siyathi ukuthi ngiyona ndzaba mlonyeni nyalo. Bonke batali baphishanekile. Bafuna wona ama uniform ebantwana na stationery kubhadala tikolo fees siyabona ukuthi itiko letemfundo solo liyabagcugcutela abatali ukuthi abende lokufanele ukuthi bakwende kutheni bantwana bathi baya esikolweni kube konke all the ducks
bro. Yes, interestingly Sifiso ngithethe ngiyabuka nje United Nations holidays ngabuka ukuthi mhla ka 24 January is actually International Day of Education. Shokuthi kuyahlangana nje kuyavula tikolo ngala on the same day kugutsha mhlaba wonke lilanga lekubaleka kwemfundo. So yes, we're hoping to delve more tindzabeni temfundo next week Tuesday sisavula tona tikolo.
Ngiyatibuta nje ukuthi ngabe is there a coincidence ngoba phela tokhumbula ukuthi it was postponed ukuvula kwetikolo. Is there a good coincidence noma nje kube info bavele bayiplanile? We don't know that, but anyway sisabuka yona liviki lelitako ngayo lesibili kuvula kwetikolo nje. Just speaking to our producers Lungelele, I'm sure you'll agree with me ukuthi we plan a special program that is dedicated to that day njengoba there's been a lot of changes particularly kulolu hlangothi ngathi nje the educational sector. Etindzabeni ukuthi ke babe nje nekuphazamiseka kakhulu ngetinto letivelile nje emhlaba wonke kubekwa kwemkhuhlane ke naloko lokuvelile lapha ekhaya eminyakeni le endlulile sithemba ke ukuthi uthi ucala le syllabus lensha noma ke le educational calendar lensha kube betele toti itsikameto leto sidabakhulumisa nje labanenge labachama khona kuyo education sector kuva ukuthi preparedness seyihambe kangakanani kanti ke lungelele nje sisachubeka nalo liviki sitakhumbula ukuthi phela lisena licala nje liviki mhla ka 16 kwaqala the World Economic Forum lese Davos eSwitzerland. Sibabona abaholi bemave bahlangene lapha bakhulumisa tona tindzaba ukuthi umhlaba singathuthukisa kanjani kutemnotho. Itheme yakhona ke ukuthi cooperation ngiyoleta usita ukuthi emave emhlaba abambisana umhlaba wonke uthuthuke kanye siyakhumbula nje ukuthi nayitole tindzabeni ivelile indzaba nasibuka lechamuka ngephandle ukuthi indzaba ekuguquguquka kwesimo selitulu bayikhulumisa bayihambisa embili njengoba ithi kabeta yona intuthuko i-global warming mangabe ke the earth is getting warmer kubhedvuka tifo nabantu ke bagula umhlaba awukhona ukuthuthuka. Siyathemba ke lokho ukuthi naletinye ke tinto labasathatha ukuthi ikhulumisa litawuthuthukisa wona umhlaba basachubeka nawo lomhlangano.
Esikunjalo Sifiso kanti nje na letenda lisematheni lomhla ekseni Prime Minister wase New Zealand Jacinda Ardern ubike ukuthi utawubeka phasi amatom akhe ngidizabset ukuthi sekuthi sowuthiniwe kanti ke uyabika nokuthi ukutabane livoti lomhla eParliament ukubuka ukuthi who will replace her. Utaphindeke kube nelikhetho for on the 14th of February this year. Sitadibuketa kabanti le tota ngephandle nakushaya insimbi yesikhombisa lomhla ekseni kanti on the show today sibheke ukuthi sikhulumisane naFisiwe Vilane losuka elibandleni lelengamele tekuchumana Eswatini Communications Commission dokumela ukuthi itolo babe nemhlangano sikolo lapho khona babafundisa ama broadcasters ngemsebenzi wawo noma mhlambe ngetindlela tekuzama ukuthuthukisa ku-improve imisebenzi yabo labayendako. Sikhulumisana naye kuva kabanti ke tikhala labatibonile kiyo le industry lena. I'm hoping to have the interview at 6:30 today.
Kanti ke sitaphinze sihlale naye Bongekile Shiba longumcondzisi we-foundation lebitwa nge-Techno Friends. It is the foundation lebukeke kufundzisa abantwana at grassroots level nge-computer science noma ke the world of ICTs njengoba ke live selingena kuyo i-4th industrial revolution. Kuyabita ke ukuthi bantwana labancane bayadi i-computer science, in fact babe digital literally savvy batati tonke nje tinto lethambelana netebuchwephesha kuze babe nawo lama soft skills nema hard skills atotonke leto tingoni batawukhona ukuthi kusasa babe competent basaphila khona lana emhlabeni which has become very digital. Sithemba ukuthi ingone lomuhle utawuhlala nathi elihlelweni sisakulethela konke lokhu lesithandza kukwethulela kona. The time is 5 minutes after 6. Asibahlele market nasibuya sitawuthatha indzaba tethu tekucala.
Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni per month. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Seven minutes after 6 angiphinze ngikwamukele ngolelo muhle ehlelweni ngikwetfulele nathi tindzaba tinkulungwane netinkulungwane telibutfo tihlakula insimi yebukhosi imfabandvu linani lelibutfo belilikhulu kanti lokuke kukhombe ukuthi eMaswati ayachubeka nekuhlonipha emakhosi elive silo inkosi eMswati wesithathu sesibusise ukuthi ngalwesine libutfo lichubekele kulamanye emasimu ebukhosi.
Tinkulungwane netinkulungwane telibutho tingene kiyo insimi yebukhosi imfabandvu tafike tayihlakula. Libutho belibulala inyoka liphume ngemandla lamakhulu. Linani lelibutho libesibuko sekuthi kuyawubabede lokungahle kungene emkhathisini wesive nemakhosi nekuthi imihambo nemasiko elive leSwatini soloku kubhalwe etibhelekeceni tenhlitiyo eMaswatini. Kwala noma sekunomoya lolinga kudunga sive kodwa lokusho engathi kuwafakela ingane ekuvusetela sifungo sawo emajaha njengoba beyisikitela imfabandvu ebuthweni bekunemazinyane esilo semhlaba. Utsite lapho seliucedzile umsebenzi wolusuku lubutho labese seliyaphuma kiyo insimi yebukhosi imfabandvu lashuqa layawungena esigodlweni enkabezweni nakhona lapho titikhulumele tinombolo telibutho. Ngekhathi esigodlweni libutho lifike lahlehla lapha ke libutho lihlehle ngeligubhu libelihambisa imilayeto lehlukahlukene. Betelako abese sikangena kiwo umgubho. Finyeza Mncina yethule umlayeto lobe uphuma esilweni semhlaba lomayelana nekuthi libutho litawuvukela kuphi ngalwesine. Indvuna iqale ngekukhipha umyalo lobe ubhekiswe ensheni.
Lelive majale likakhulukathi nini labancane lethembenine na utawubuka lo kuhamba lokukhuluma kokolombo uyabona hawu sowududana umgotsi litawusala kini leyela tawuse leyele kini majaha. Majaha namuhla emabutho sekayehlukana ludzidzi luye ngonini ingabave engembeni
Lobika kwetindzabeni ngisandile Makhanye esigodlweni enkabezweni.
Umhlonishwa Ndvunankhulu Cleopas Dlamini uthi uhulumende utawuchubeka nekwesekela iRoyal Science and Technology Park etinhlelweni tayo tekutfutfukisa te-science kanye netebuchwephesha kuleli. Ndvunankhulu ukubete lokhu ngesikhatsi ayawuhlola umsebenzi lochubekako e-Biotechnology Park eNokwane kanye nase-RSTP ePhocweni.
Kuthi ngalesithathu Ndvunankhulu Cleopas Dlamini wavakashela iRoyal Science and Technology Park. Ndvunankhulu-ke uqale ngekuyawuhlola ukuthi umsebenzi uchubeka kanjani eBiopark eNokwane lapho kubhekeke ukuthi kwakhiwe khona iBiotechnology Center, indzawo yokufukamela bosomabhizinisi labancane, i-Business Incubation Facilities, kanye-ke nendzawo letawuniketa lusito loluphelele lwahulumende kanye nendzawo yokucwaninga tintfo etiphatselene netekulima. Inkantolo yemacala lephatselene netemabhizinisi Commercial Court nayo kubhekeke ukuthi ibe khona kule ndzawo. Ndvunankhulu bese wehlela ePhocweni lapho afike wahlola khona i-National Data Center, Sikolo setebuchwephesha i-Advanced School of IT kanye-ke ne-National Contact Center. Ndvunankhulu-ke uchazela ukuthi i-Royal Science and Technology Park isebenza njani kanye-ke netinsaya lebhekene nato emgomeni wayo wekutfutfukisa tebuchwephesha kuleli. Ndvunankhulu uchazile ukuthi usesemningi umsebenzi lemele wentiwe eNokwane njengoba kusete takhiwo futhi kusete labatawuhlanyela timali kule ndzawo lekuthiwa yi-Special Economic Zone. Ephocweni, Ndvunankhulu uthi tiningi takhiwo letingasebenziswa ngalokuphelele lekangatike ukuthi ngabe lokho kubangwa bukhulu balesakhiwo noma-ke sive kasati ngaso. Ndvunankhulu-ke ucele bosomabhizinisi ukuthi bakhulumisane nalababukwe i-RSTP kanike uphindze wathembisa ukuthi uhulumende utawetama ngayo yonke indlela kwesekela yona-ke i-RSTP. Endzabeni tanamuhla ngengiyani Msibi isembabane.
Indvuna yelitiko letemfundvo Lady Howard seyemukele imishina yekufundzela kupheka nekwekuwayarisha gesi ngaphansi kweluhlelo lwekutfutfukisa emakhono i-Vocational Skills Certification Enhancement Project. Lemphahla yetfulwe ngulonxusele live le-Taiwan kuleli Jeremy Liang. Kanti-ke lo msebenzi bowungenelwe na indvuna yetisebenti Phila Buthelezi kanye nendvuna yetekuvakasha Moses Vilakati.
Sigaba sesibili selihlelo lokuthuthukisa emakhono lelichutshwa ekolishi lemakhono ye-Eswatini College of Technology kanye nalelo legwamile Voc team lelatiwa ngele Vocational Skills Certification Enhancement Project lelisekelwe nguhulumende welive le-Taiwan litawengeta tifundvo tekupheka netekuvakasha, hospitality and tourism, phindze kutfutfukise tifundvo tekuwayarisha electrical wiring. Ngalesithathu tindvuna tembuso letintsatfu lengiloyo yelitiko letemfundvo nekucecesha Lady Howard, yelitiko letisebenti nenhlalakahle yato Phila Buthelezi kanye naleyo yetekuvakasha nemvelo Moses Vilakati bamukele imishina yekusebenta letinhlelo lapho khona indvuna yelitiko letemfundvo Lady Howard ivetile kutsi letinhlelo tawubambisa live ekuthuthukiseni temakhono.
It is only in recent times that the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini has taken keen interest in transforming the technical and vocational education and training, TVET, to reduce unemployment and enrich livelihoods. Availability of skilled workers contributes to higher and more sustainable growth and productive employment creation.
Indvuna yetiko leti-17 nenhlala kahle yato Phila Buthelezi yona ithi ngaleti nhlelo kutawuvaleka sikhala lesikhona sekweselakala kwemsebenti kubantfu labasha.
Such initiatives are really for the good of the economy. We are facing high levels of unemployment. It is becoming evident that not all of us will have to be employed in the private sector and the public sector. We do need to have entrepreneurs who are self-grown, who have been capacitated with skills.
Lonxusele live le-Taiwan kuleli Jeremy Liang uthi temakhono tingumgogodla wentfutfuko yelive.
At every stage, TVET has played an instrumental role in producing skilled personnel to help drive the economic development.
Lesigaba sesibili salolu hlelo tawuphindze lubuke kuhlolwa temakhono pheceleti grade testing. Etindzabeni ye-Eswatini TV kubika Samkeliswe Khoza naSikhumbuzo Dlamini eMbabane.
Njengaloku batali bachubeka nekufunela abantu babo tindzawo etikolweni letahlukahlukene sekucubuke tinsolo tekutsi letinye taletikolwa ngephandle kwekufuna imali yesikolo ye-deposit kodwa setifuna labatali babhadale imali yekutsenga indzawo yekutsi labantu babo bafundze kuleto tikolwa. Litiko letemphilo litikhalimela ngelivi lelicinile letinsolo latsi-ke litawutilandzelela.
Lokuvakalako akusiko lokuhle nalokusemthethweni. Litiko kufuna lithathe tinyathelo likucedze lomkhuba nangabe uyenteka. However ke besingacela lokuthi nakunetindzaba leti kanje. Sicela lokuthi babotipota ema office nabo REO. Icale lapho lendzaba. Ba investigate beve ukuthi kuliciniso kuhamba njani. Then isindaba sesiyayithatha apho. Ezilitiko siyayilungisa. Ngokuganga ntongo akusiko nje akukho emthethweni. Ngokuganga nje lekufuna sikuthathele itinyathelo mhlawumbe nemaphoyisa siwafake egazi ukuthi amana as-investigatele because sekuyi-criminal lokho ngokuganga nje. Sesike saphinde sawukhuta lo mkhuba akusiko kuhle lokuthi bese labanye abantwana sebaya abasathola indzawo ngenza bayekuthi abakendi kahle bese abasakhona ukuchubeka netemfundo. Siyakubakhuta kakhulu bothishela nangabe kusekhona labenta kanjalo ukuthi akwendiwa lokho sicela ukuthi balandzelele imithetho yonke yetemfundo ema-policies ethu lesinawo ukuthi kuhamba kanjani etindzabeni teku-admit abantwana.
Loyo bekakatse angumhlonishwa wenkhundla yasemayiwane egcina Shebeleza Dlamini utawufihlwa ngemgcibelo mhlati ngema-21 ekhaya lakhe emayiwane. Isekela lemcondzisi wetinkhulumo ePhalamende Madala Mhlanga uthi kutawuba nenkonzo yesikhumbuto ngalesihlanu natinge-20 kulesetulu.
Sihlalo we-Parliamentary Service Board emalunga ePhalamende endlu yabayisikhulu i-management neti-70 tePhalamende tendlulisa futsi kukhatsateka lokukhulu ngekuhambelwa ngumhlonishwa gcina Shebeleza Dlamini lilunga lePhalamende lasemayiwane entsatsa kusa tange msombuluko kulona leliviki lesikilo. Sendlulisa kulila ikakhulu ku-the Majesties inkosi yelihlanga kanye nendlovukazi hulumende wayo imbube nebantu basemayiwane inkundla ikakhulukati nawo onke emaswati sithi uNkulunkulu akamane abadudude bonke labo labatsinzekile nebangani kulesikhathi lesimatima lebakiso. Kutaba nenkonzo yesikhumbuto emayiwane Free Evangelical Church ngolwesihlanu letawucala ngesimbi yekucala emini mhla ka-20. Utawube se umhlonishwa uyawubekwa endlini yakhe ekugcina ngentsatsa kusa yangemgcibelo khona ekhaya lakhe emayiwane.
Kwenteke ingoti yemotolo enhlambeni yemgwaqweni losuka emhlaleni uye enhlangano ngetitfuba tensimbi yesibili emini lapho kushayisene khona timotolo letimbili kwashona munye umuntu. Umchumanisi wesive nemaphoyisa Superintendent Phindile Vilakati uthi kukhona labalimele kamedima kule ngoti labaphuthunyiswe esibhedlela.
Lengoti lehlatimlisa umtimba yendeke ngetitfuba tensimbi yesibili emini endzaweni yasenhlambeni emgwaqweni losuka emhlaleni uye enhlangano lowatiwa ngele MR9 noma ke yithi abantu highway lapho kushayisene khona timotolo letimbili Lokuhlobo lwe-Ford Ranger single cab kanye ne-Mazda Etude kwaba khona loshonako umumfu lapho kwendeke khona lengoti. Belisutelo liphuthumako beticishamlilo umbufo wembubweni sive baphuthume lapho kwendeke khona lengoti kunikota lisitolo lifanele lapho labathathu labalimele kamedima baphuthunyiswe emtholampilo. Umchumanisi wesive nemaphoyisa Superintendent Phindile Vilakati wethule umbiko walombutho ngalengoti.
Ukhona umbiko wengoti lesotholile emgwaqeni lomkhulu eMaru9 lekungumgwaqo losuka emhlaleni ubheke kubonhlangana ukuthi lapha ngakubongwane park kube netimoto letimbili letishayisanako head-on collision lokufaka ekhathi i-Ford Ranger kanye nemoto lencane yeNissan. Siseteke umbiko lophelele ukuthi abantu labathinzekile kule ngoti babengakanani nekuthi banjani kwanyalo njengalokhu bavele baphuthunyiswa esibhedlela kuleto timoto letifike ekucaleni. Noko ke ukhona omunye umuntu lesemkhanzile lapho kule ngoti losavele asishile emhlabeni ngekubuka kwethu noko sisatawuvana sifika khona kudokotela. Nekuthi ke sitawuba umbiko lophelele sesitholile kubona labo labasesibhedlela ukuthi bona banjani kona siyeva ukuthi nabo bangilabathinzekile noma balimele kakhulu kepha nje sesithemba ukuthi umdali utasendela wona umusa.
Nasahlanganisa lo mbiko umbufo wembubeni esive busachubeka nekuphenya imbangela yale ngoti. Edinzabente Eswatini TV kubika Samkeliswe Khoza nginasikhumbuzo Dlamini enhlambeni.
Kutfolakele luswane lufakwe ekhathonini lilahliwe emangwaneni eMbabane. Luswane lutfolwe bantfwana labebadlala ngetibi ngalesithathu emini yantsambama.
Lolu swane lolubukeka ngathi belithanza kubelekwa nje luthole bantwana lebebadlala ngetibi enzaweni yasemangwaneni eMbabane ngasesikolweni lesincane. Lolu swane ke lebesevele lishonile beligoqodelwe ngeliplastiki lafakwa ekhathonini kanike banele kulibona labantwana baligwabula babona lolu swane lapha ekhathi babaleka bayobikela labadzala ngale sebakubonile. Umqututeli khona ke emangwaneni Sincobile Ngomane uyasichazela.
Wathi mina bengisekhaya kwaqhamuka lomnye baba kaDlamini wathi ukuqhamuke bampha bakhe kusho bebato odobha la ngoba kuvamisa kuba netibi bavula le khabhosi bakhanza ukuthi kunalo mfana base bayabaleka bayale kuye bamtshela kude yena kimoto ngitshela asathi ithi khona letinsolo ukuthi ngende kuba la kepha nje asimathi.
Simo sabantwana banjani yaloba phela nababone lokunje ukhanza ukuthi basethukile.
Ngicabanga ukuthi bethukile babone loketulu kwemandla abo.
Utholakala ngabosikhatsini nomntwana nabasho bantwana bekubosikhatsini.
Angathi ngoba la kimi ngase bese koshaya yabo 4:45 nake fika lo baba.
Leli khathoni ngebekafake kulo lo mntwana libhalwe ukuthi Khanyisile Simelane. Lochumanisa amaphoyisa nesive Phindile Vilakati uvumile lo mbiko wathi amaphoyisa bekasaya khona emangwaneni. Edinzabeni ngengiyani Msibi ngisemangwaneni eMbabane.
Tinhlambi temaphoyisa titsi tibone kwehla kwetinombolo tebantfu labancwilako kuleli hlobo lelisetulu nakucatsaniswa nelihlobo lelengcile. Letinhlambi betisedamu laseliphohlo lapho betidvumisa tikepe naleminye imishini kulungiselela kusita nekutfola labacwilile.
Isikhathi sasehlobo kuba sikhathi lapho khona ke kubonakala bantfu labaningi labacwilako emadamini nasemifuleni yakuleli. Kungako-ke tinhlambi temaphoyisa tibone bumcoka ukuthi ake setithathe tinsimbi tabo labasebenta ngato kufaka ekhatsi tikepe sebake batidumise kubuka ukuthi tisasebenta ngalokufanele yini ukuthi bakhone ukuthi labo labacwilako bakhone ukuthi bafike kibo ngelitubane bente umsebenzi wabo ngalokuphelele.
Le exercise lanamuhla zitocheka nje imishini yethu esisebenza ngayo mathulusi ekusebenta especial. Njengoba sathi nasekhana kungena hlobo emakhuba siyatsinzisa siwaqhobise bo oil nani lapha nje besitocheka lesikepe besitocheka sikepe le boat yethu le ngilele nkulu esinayo la emaphoyiseni ikhona lincane lengekho nayo sitawubuya lilanga sitoyitest.
Siyathanza nekuba mema bothishela nhloko etikolweni imimango lenetinkinga tekukhanze ukuthi bantfana babo abafuni kuva ngetindzaba tekuyodlala emfuleni noma ngetindzaba nje tekungahloniphi kahle imifula nayigcwele. Sikhona semaphoyisa tandla tethu tivulekile emsakati singaya siyobafundzisa sibatshele nebungoti lebangabutfola emandini nekusibita ke noma sekungabe sebavalelekile bafuna kuwela kunekuthi bangatendela sikhona sema divers.
bathi-ke nababuka isikhathi sasehlobo esikhathini noma-ke seminyaka lokuphelile nalesisetulu tibonakala-ke tiyehla tinombolo tebantfu labagcwilako emifuleni nasemadamini lokusho ukuthi livangele bungoti bemanti liyevakala. Etindzabeni tanamuhla ngengiyani Msibi nginavuma inkosi Nzenisa siseluphohlo.
Kutemidlalo lokhulumela inhlangano yemidlalo wema-darts lapha even Flag Nxumalo uthi emalungiselelo emidlalo yema-region 5 yalonyaka yema-under 15 kanye nema-under 18 sekavele aqalile kanike imidlalo ye-league yalonyaka itawubasita kukhetha abadlali lekubhekeke ukuthi bamelele live kule midlalo. Le midlalo kubhekeke ukuthi ibanjwe ngenyanga yeNgci eZimbabwe.
Sakade njengoba sinakho sesicala umnyaka lomusha 2023 olomnyaka kumele ukuthi sithathe i-youth yethu ema-under 15 ema-under 18 aye even naseZimbabwe ayohlabana ka-under region 5. So siyacela kakhulu ku-teacher ku-sports teacher basibambise ngebantwana ukuthi sikhona ukuthi si-select le-national team lencane. Then kubadlali abadzala i-national league siyacela ama-teams ukuthi atilungiselele league yacala mhla ka-28 January. Onke ama-team akatimisele eMalkens ngeyoma-defending champions abuyile namandla abuya nama-teams lamabili athi kulo mnyaka afuna kuthatha icoco number 1 number 2 but siyethemba ukuthi ama-teams atasibambisa kuloko ukuthi bangaqhubeki badominate.
28 minutes after 6 ke ngaleyo ndzaba yema-darts yatiphetsa tindzaba tethu talomuhla esibahlule emakethe kodwa singakayi emakethe sitawubuka simo selitulo.
Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni. Come on. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back imbukeli sibonge kuhlala nathi eluhlelweni lesikhathi sanyalo sitawubuka ama-clips atawusifundzisa ngekuba yi-data scientist kuthi nje what happens in the world of data science ake siwabuke.
Are you one of the many who dreams of becoming a data scientist? Keep watching this video if you're passionate about data science because we will tell you how does it really work under the hood. Emma is a data scientist. Let's see how a day in her life goes while she's working on a data science project. Well, it is very important to understand the business problem first. In our meeting with the clients, Emma asks relevant questions, understands and defines objectives for the problem that needs to be tackled. She is a curious soul who asks a lot of whys, one of the many traits of a good data scientist. Now, she gears up for data acquisition to gather and scrape data from multiple sources like web servers, logs, databases, APIs, and online repositories. Oh, it seems like finding the right data takes both time and effort. After the data is gathered comes data preparation. This step involves data cleaning and data transformation. Data cleaning is the most time-consuming process as it involves handling many complex scenarios. Here, Emma deals with inconsistent data types, misspelled attributes, missing values, duplicate values, and whatnot. Then, in data transformation, she modifies the data based on defined mapping rules. In her project, ETL tools like Talent and Informatica are used to perform complex transformations that helps the team to understand the data structure better. Then understanding what you actually can do with your data is very crucial. For that, Emma does exploratory data analysis. With the help of EDA, she defines and refines the selection of feature variables that will be used in the model development. But what if Emma skips this step? She might end up choosing the wrong variables, which will produce an inaccurate model. Thus, exploratory data analysis becomes the most important step. Now she proceeds to the core activity of a data science project, which is data modeling. She repetitively applies diverse machine learning techniques like KNN, decision tree, naive Bayes to the data to identify the model that best fits the business requirement. She trains the models on the training dataset and tests them to select the best performing model. Emma prefers Python for modeling the data. However, it can also be done using R and SAS. Well, the trickiest part is not yet over: visualization and communication. Emma meets the clients again to communicate the business findings in a simple and effective manner to convince the stakeholders. She uses tools like Tableau, Power BI, and ClickView that can help her in creating powerful reports and dashboards. And then finally, she deploys and maintains the model. She tests the selected model in a pre-production environment before deploying it in the production environment, which is the best practice, right? After successfully deploying it, she uses reports and dashboards to get real-time analytics. Further, she also monitors and maintains the project's performance. Well, that's how Emma completes the data science project. We have seen the daily routine of a data scientist is a whole lot of fun, has a lot of interesting aspects, and comes with its own share of challenges. Now, let's see how data science is changing the world. Data science techniques, along with genomic data, provides a deeper understanding of genetic issues in reaction to particular drugs and diseases. Logistic companies like DHL, FedEx have discovered the best routes to ship, the best suited time to deliver, the best mode of transport to choose, thus leading to cost efficiency. With data science, it is possible to not only predict employee attrition, but to also understand the key variables that influence employee turnover. Also, the airline companies can now easily predict flight delay and notify the passengers beforehand to enhance their travel experience. Well, if you're wondering, there are various roles offered to a data scientist, like data analyst, machine learning engineer, deep learning engineer, data engineer, and of course, data scientist. The median base salaries of a data scientist can range from $95,000 to $165,000. So that was about the data science. Are you ready to be a data scientist? If yes, then start today. The world of data needs you.
Alright, welcome back. That was a clip. Isichazela kabani njenge-data science. Athemba ukuthi kuningi lokufundzile. I think lokubalekile nje bakhuluma indaba ukuthi you need to prepare your data. Basichazela ukuthi how do you prepare your data, and also you need to understand what to do with your data is also important. And ukuthi mhlawumbe usalungiselela leyo data yakho kube kumcoka ukuthi kube khona nama visuals latawuhambisana naleyo information leyo. So bayavete lapha ekugcineni ukuthi if you want to be a data scientist, start today. Uzama kulungiselela kuthola that information.
What I'm seeing there is a linkage between yona data science nabo engineering, in the sense ukuthi ihambelana kakhulu nayo problem solving, identifying ama problems ukuthi uwasolve kanjani, particularly in the field of the technology. So siyabona nje ukuthi data science is, we could say, is an important skill letawuhambelana nawo ama-skills latawuba in high demand ezike umhlaba usathuthuka. Esikhathi sanyalo-ke sitawubuka yona iclip letasifundisa nge-Bitcoin, lekungenye indzaba lesiyibonako in social media making rounds. Asike sesiyibuke.
Jordan, a fresh graduate, is working as a sophomore engineer at a big firm, saving money for higher studies. One day, he came to know that the bank where he was saving money got bankrupt, and all his money was now gone with the bank. Jordan was confused. How come if the bank had gone bankrupt, his money was also gone? When his friend Jack learned about this, he explained that banks are basically a centralized system for storing the data of all transactions. Banks rotate money to ensure the existence of the money of their customers. For instance, the amount of money appearing on your account is just a number or value. So if they go through any crisis, your money also comes at risk. A real-life example of this was the bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers, when they caused a global recession. In a nutshell, by giving your money to the bank, you are giving control of your money to someone else, and this causes the problem of transparency. And this doesn't stop there. Due to the irrational ratio of banks and data present, technical failures and double spending, where due to internal server issues, the amount gets deducted twice, became prominent issues. Jordan was shocked to know such an in-depth mechanism of banks and how they negatively affect their money, and wondered if these issues are so prominent, what is a solution? And that's when Jack replied, well, there is a solution, and it's Bitcoin. Jordan was confused and asked what Bitcoin is. Jack explained that Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency that came into existence in 2008. A white paper was published by a guy named Satoshi Nakamoto, suggesting a way of creating a system for a decentralized currency called Bitcoin. Its motive was to show the world that a decentralized control structure can work with the institutional government. Bitcoin claimed to create a digital solution that would solve all these problems, like double spending, corruption, and low transparency, without the need for a central authority. Jordan was excited to know about Bitcoin, but needed clarification about how Bitcoin can solve such issues that large institutions like banks cannot. Jack further explained that Bitcoin is a transparent ledger without a central authority and works on blockchain technology. Blockchain is a system for storing data in a way that makes it challenging or impossible to alter, hack, or defraud the system. A blockchain is simply a network of computer systems that maintains duplicate copies of all transactions in a digital ledger disseminated throughout the network. And BTC is the currency used to make those transactions successful. And as there are no middlemen, the transaction cost is way cheaper, as each system in the network carries a copy of the ledger or transaction stored in it, making it impossible to hack or manipulate. Because to do so, you will have to take down or hack every system or node participating in the network. Bitcoin is completely digital. Jordan, after knowing this, asked how it could solve his problem and how he could get access to Bitcoin if it's completely digital. Jack explained that one can always buy Bitcoins. Once you own Bitcoin, it gives you a specific ID, which gives you full control over your money. Using that ID, you can send or receive funds in your Bitcoin account that can be later converted into any currency anytime you want. So, if he would have invested that same amount in Bitcoin years ago, he could have easily accessed it. And it would have been worth much more than they were years ago. Another reference is of Vignesh Sundaresan, famously known as Metakovan, who became a billionaire with just $5,000 investment, all because of Bitcoin. So these examples are powerful enough to establish the fact that Bitcoin is the best alternative for today's financial establishment, and also how bright its future is going to be. Well, here's a question for you. Where are all the Bitcoin transactions stored? A. Blockchain. B. Digital ledger. C. Private key. D. Crypto wallet. Think about it and leave your answers in the comments section, and we will provide the answer next week. Give the correct answer along with your reasoning and stand a chance to win an Amazon voucher. Jordan was slightly relieved, but still curious to know that if Bitcoin is a solution to all the problems, then why is it not used or implemented by everyone? Jack mentioned that Bitcoin is an alternative to the current system, and it cannot be controlled by any bank or government. Although there are some great benefits of Bitcoin, many people like Warren Buffett and Mark Cuban still view it as risky. Big economies, including the US, China, Japan, and others, have actually endorsed this currency. However, this currency is still clouded in question as a result of the territorial struggle. Many top companies like Microsoft, Expedia, KFC, and Overstock believe in Bitcoin and use it as a currency mode. And maybe in the coming years, it will gain more people's trust and ultimately revolutionize the whole economic system of the world.
Well, there was a clip that was showing us noma ke beyisifundisa ngayo i-Bitcoin. I think look interesting ukuthi noma basekhona bosomabhizinisi laba ingabatako laba firecuts bo Warren Buffett nabo Mark Cuban, who is the owner of Dallas Mavericks. It is interesting kubona ukuthi le live labo i-America, le live lelifana ne-China ne-Japan, ngemavela savele ayi-endorsile i-Bitcoin. Ukuthi nje i-Bitcoin bathi is the biggest or the best alternative to the current financial establishment lapha emhlabeni. It is interesting ukubona nje ukuthi imali cishe nje tonke tinto, not just imali, seti-digitiziwe njengoba ke sisho ukuthi siya kwe-4th industrial revolution, sesingenela dona tinzabande buchwephesha.
And also, I suppose I think it's also that Bitcoin, you're able to solve issues such as double spending as well as corruption, and also it is digitalized, so you have full control of your money, and it's not owned, it's not controlled by any bank or government. Because it is digital. So yeah, many people buy 70 Bitcoin. So I think around 2008 in clip. So if you want more information, get more data on Bitcoin.
Is it something you are interested in
I
exploring?
think I'm interested after watching this clip, because I think I need to acquaint myself more on Bitcoin.
Here's another one, Lungelele, cryptocurrency versus Emma token. What is the difference? There's a clip that I see Kombisa that contrast, I guess, the book.
Hey everyone, welcome to this new coin versus token video that will cover some major differences between these two. So let's start the journey. But before that, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel for more such interesting topics. But before getting to the comparison of crypto coins and tokens, let me give a quick introduction to what is a digital asset. This will help you understand the difference between crypto coins and tokens better. Broadly speaking, a digital asset is a non-tangible asset that is created, exchanged, and kept in a digital format. By this definition, cryptocurrencies and crypto tokens are considered digital assets in the context of blockchains. Since both cryptocurrencies and tokens are digital assets on blockchains, the terms are frequently used synonymously, but they are not similar. There are multiple parameters where they differ from each other on multiple levels, and that's what we will cover moving forward in this video. So let me take you through the comparison parameters based on which we will compare crypto coins and tokens. First is definition. Cryptocurrencies have their own unique blockchain. BTC is the currency used in the Bitcoin blockchain. Ethereum has ETH on its blockchain. Similar to traditional currencies, the main purpose of these currency coins is to serve as a form of wealth storage and a medium of exchange. For this reason, cryptocurrency is another name for cryptocurrency coins. Although they are created utilizing blockchain technology, unlike cryptocurrency currencies, crypto tokens are not native to a blockchain. While cryptocurrency coins imitate conventional money, crypto tokens behave more like assets or even deeds. A crypto token may serve as a proxy for ownership. The next parameter that will be measured is supply, the way they are created. Mining is used to create crypto coins. In most cases, cryptocurrencies are either mined using a proof of work, or POW, or a proof of stake, POS, consensus mechanism. Tokens, unlike cryptocurrencies, are generalized and distributed by the project developer rather than being mined. Tokens can be utilized in a plethora of ways once they are in the possession of buyers. Now, talking about fees, or gas. When transferring a cryptocurrency, transaction fees, or gas, are cheaper. However, when transferring tokens, they are more expensive. When transferring tokens, you still require some cryptocurrency in the same account because fees are always paid for in cryptocurrencies. Now, moving on to the next parameter, purpose. What are they used for or what they serve? Crypto coins are designed to work in the same way as paper money and metal coins, meaning they can be used for many of the things normally used with US dollars or euros, including storing value, exchanging for other currencies, paying for goods and services, transferring to others, and so forth. Whereas most crypto tokens are made to be utilized in dApps or blockchain-based projects. Crypto tokens can represent ownership in a DAO, a digital product or NFT, or even a tangible item. Crypto tokens are similar to currencies in that they may be purchased, sold, and exchanged, but are not utilized as a means of exchange. To put it another way, crypto coins are more like dollars and cents, whereas crypto tokens are more like coupons or vouchers. And the last parameter that will be measured is types, the variation of crypto coins or tokens present in the crypto market. Some of the popular crypto coins are Bitcoin, the first and most well-known crypto coin in the world. Ethereum implements smart contracts and is the home to thousands of blockchain projects and NFTs. Cardano, an open source and decentralized blockchain platform that is one of the first to run on a POS consensus, and many more. In crypto tokens, some of the popular tokens are Filecoin and Arweave, allow users to pay with their utility tokens for the right to store data on their decentralized network, maximizing the potential of cloud storage. Axie Infinity, one of the best-known play-to-earn on the market, and features a utility token called Smooth Love Potions. Chronos, a utility token for the Crypto.com ecosystem, and there are many more tokens available in the crypto ecosystem. Now, the decision of whether to purchase coins or tokens greatly depends upon the holder's intentions.
Was an interesting clip there. Let's see, kombisa umehluko between crypto coins now and crypto token. I think the notable difference lapha kusho nje ukuthi i-crypto coin ungayisebenzisa kuthenga i-token. So essentially i-crypto coin is digital money. Imali lo isebenzisako kuthenga info in the crypto world, in the digital world. Kanti ke le token yona ine value ke le bese seyahluka yona ngoba uyithenga ngale coin ungayibekisa njenge asset lulu. Ake sithi nje si contextualizer ngemali lesisebenzisa kuthina nawe. I crypto coin ngu200 lonayo espachini noma ke imali lonayo ebhange imali yakho lonayo. Bese I token ma assets lonawo ngoba nayo ma assets angithi siwaveluisha ngokuthi your asset is valued ngokuthi ingumalini noma ke ine value lengakanani. Sesithi nje unemhlaba, unemhlabathi, umhlabathi wakho siyasho ukuthi awu unjingile, unemhlabathi noma unetinkomo unjingile. Those are your assets, so those are your tokens. Kanti ke your coin ngule mali lona. So it's an interesting difference ekuthenini ungaba nayo le crypto coin ube ngumuntu lonemali but uthenge ngayo i-asset noma i-token letawuba ne-value lenengi kunale crypto coin yakho eventually njengoba nawe unemhlaba u-appreciate ugcine so yimali lenengi kunalena lona ebhange. So this is an interesting difference engabe siyaphnya lo lungelelo.
Yeah, all right. So let's chubeka nato nje tekuchwephesha tokumla ukuthi yesterday bekune workshop lapho khona isicom regulator watote kuxhumana behlanganisa ama broadcasters lapha eSwatini TV naka ABIS nalamanye nje kubeti khona ke tikhulumi letine lefaya khathi CEO waka isicom kanye nemphathi waka ABIS asicela sive silalele CEO waka isicom ukuthi khona wathini.
Singumlawuli nje watoleti te kuxhumana sibe bathe sihleti siyakhulumisana nanaba lababuke bona labo radio kakhulu nje nabo nawo lo msakazo wetithombe lokuthi ungathi siyaceka silive kulaba lesingathi nje ngesilungu ma presenters ethu sikhanzeke ukuthi ungathi kungasisita silive sithole bocwephesha bede batawusifundisela lama presenters ethu ikakhulu nje le issue le kuthiwa i-content siye sibone ngesikhathi sive nje ukuthi ulalela umsakade ukhanzelelo wekunene akhuluma kuphela 15 minutes akhuluma yedwa but ungatholi nalokuthi kahle njani wathi uhambisa isikhathi nje kanti phela nawo wenda lo msebenzi ufuna ube ne script ngaleyo langa wathi ukuthi nama topics engidawakha discussa namhla naku lengidakukhuluma ngidawushayela zibani hayi lo ngathi uqabanga sokulapha e-studio ukuthi nyalo sengingathini imcoka kakhulu ke le professionalism vele nane ukuthi nje umuntu unaka presenter phela urepresenta leyo broadcaster sesikhathi abantu into labayithole emsakadweni kumbe ku TV bathi ukuthi vele ngeke kube ngemanga kuliqiniso so timgcoka into lethi abantu babe aware ukuthi uthasebenza nje ke urepresent elive urepresent yona le broadcaster le professionalism emcoka nale training nje ukuthi abantu bacapacitate ke kuze kuthi ke le sector yethu indlondlombale siye sibone nje bomakhelwane ukuthi sebathe nabo baqala la sasikhona khona so ke lokho nje sithi cha sing regulator asimane sibabambise as a foundation sibaqale bathole training kepha ke sibheke ukuthi nakuqhubeka lama broadcasters abohle yakhipha abozukana athatha bamixe etikolweni kepha nje namhla sibuke vele laba labangona ama presenters lamanye ama-sectors or letinye tingoni sesike satibuka kumbe nje ngathi the technical aspect sike sahamba nawo ema-training labuke lokho but-ke namhlanje sito khuthata nekuthi sifundise ma-basics nje ukuthi na umpresenter kufuna wendeni i-content yakho kufuna ibe professional ngani kanjani.
Kumcwa kakhulu lokuthi siyithole le training lesitholile namhla for labasakati bethu netinsatheli ngoba wathi njengoba nathi nje le field lesikuya ka broadcasting ishintshele edulu very dynamic. Kufuna sonke isikhathi sitinake tidzingo tebalaleli balemsakato yethu. Sikhanze kumcwa kakhulu lokuthi silithole lithuba lokuthi sibatraine labasakati naye tinsatheli ngetindlela letingcono netesimanje manje tekukhicita tekwenta i-production ngendlela letawumukeleke esiveni ngendlela letokwenta sive siyilalele imisakato yethu futhi ngendlela letokwenta ukuthi basi nje abantu balalela kube khona labakugayinako ngale information lesibaniketa yona lapha emsakatweni. So kule field lesikuyo kucecesha indlela lokufuna ihlale yendeka ngaso sonke isikhathi kude umuntu longathi kule field yena sowuceceshwe sofike ekugcineni. Njengoba umhlaba ushintsha nje sekune new media siyathi ukuthi sekune ama platforms lamaningi nyalo labantu bathola khona information. Kumcwalo usithine sihlale sipheceledi si creative si innovative sitifeza tidzingo tebalaleli bethu ngendlela labathola ngayo futhi leyo information abayifuna ngayo.
Sibonga-ke mbukeli uhlala nathi ehlelweni kulesikhathi sanyalo sitawubahlola emakethe singakayi emakethe sitawuthatha wona umbiko ukuthi isimo sime kanjani emigwaqweni i-traffic update.
Do you remember the spinning thing? This is us. This picture represents what we did. We were there when coronavirus wreaked havoc in our population. Together with other stakeholders, we formed the first line, controlling the spread of the unknown and unseen enemy of the people. Anxious ourselves, we collected dead bodies countrywide. At the time when no one wanted to come near dead bodies of loved ones, we did care for our fellow citizens. Thank you, the people of Eswatini and teams of first responders.
Minutes after 6 kulesikhathanyalo sijoyinwa nguye Constable Ntombenhle Fakutse losipha yona i-traffic update sikuvusele nalomhla ekuseni Ntolo sibonga isikhathi sakho engabe eMaswati waphathelene emgwaqweni.
Ngikuvusele msakati ngivusele naye umbukeli wemsakato imigwaqo elivela kaNgwane sesiyihlolile singumbutho wembubene sive. Imigwaqo leminingi iyahambeka kepha kukhona lo singathanza ukukwatisa yena umshayeli asasebenzisa wona umgwaqo kulolu suku lanamuhla ekseni. Lesinako nje lesikubonako kulamalanga sisabuka yona imigwaqo siyanaka ukuthi liyashisa kakhulu. Sive senkosi ukhanza esikhathini lesiningi siphethe tona tambulelo kuze ukuthi sivikele kulolu langa lesilibonako lishisa. Lokwendekako ke ukhanza ukuthi ngalesinye isikhathi nangabe sebawela umgwaqo labo labahamba ngetinyawo baphethe tona tambulelo ukhanze ukuthi sebavimbeleka basakhona ukubona kahle imotolo nathi siqhamuka sisinje asibambisaneni nangabe sowela umgwaqo usivale kulelo minute linye ukhona ukuthi uwele umgwaqo ngekuphepha kwathi phela lokho ukuthi ugcina sekubanga dona ingoti nako nje ukuthi labo labahamba ngetinyawo abende isiqiniseko ikakhulu kati ekhathi emadolobheni lamakhulu elive bahambe khona etindzaweni lesifanele kuma-pavement bangathi kanti sebahamba ekhathi emgwaqweni ngoba lapho bagcina sebatwebeka ngito sebatshetsha ngito tibuko tetimoto. Madolobha ke elive tiba netemgwaqo tiyasebenza tonke ngaphandle nje kwalesemangwaneni edolobheni lelikhulu eMbabane. Umgwaqo lomkhulu osuka khona ehekeni laseNgwenya ubheka khona kaManzini kude sikabedo lesikhona ngaphandle nje kwekuthi namhla ekseni sibona emaloli lamaningi kakhulu lasuka khona ehekeni laseNgwenya labheka khona kaManzini sithi nje kubo bashayeli basashayela khona lapho abacophelisise kakhulu nabo labashayela wona emaloli abente isiqiniseko sekwekuthi bangathi khandi seba overtakena kakhulu kwathi sephela kwekuthi lokho kugcina sekuba ngetingoti nasetimotweni letincane lesiphuthuma khona emisebentini. Umgwaqo losuka khona kuMahlanya ubheke khona kuMathapha lapha ngase-Sundowners umgwaqo lapho solo ulimele yomibili imivila nje asinakisiseni kakhulu nasisasebenzisa loyo mgwaqo. Kanti-ke lo munye umgwaqo lesiwuhlolile umgwaqo losuka khona ngelehele ubheke khona Esiphofaneni lapha ngasemgconyeni kuleli kona nje lelicijile khona lapho kunemgodi nje lomkhulu lovulekile khona lakha semgwaqweni sithi nje lababheka khona Esiphofaneni nasebatawufika khona emgconyeni abalehlise elitubane banakisise bangathi khanzise bangena engotini sebashayisana netimoto lebafambana nazo. Ngale kwaloko msakadi naye umbukeli imigwaqo elivela kangwane iyahambeka ngaphandle nje kwalesi sentishiso sikabedo. Kungaba kufisela yena umlaleli umbukeli usuku loluhle naloluphephile basetawusebenzisa yona imigwaqo elivela kangwane.
Kakhulu Mtolo. Kanti-ke Mtolo bawungalahleki nje nanoma uthi uyawufisela wona umlaleli ukuthi umbukeli noma ke lo host lona lihlelo ukuthi abe nosuku loluhle nathi nje siyawa appreciate lawo ma sentiments njengoba nathi sikufisela Mtolo ukuthi nawe ube nalo usuku loluhle usahamba emigwaqweni. Sibonga kakhulu ke umbukeli ukuthi usesenathi eluhlelweni sitawubahlola emarket nasibuya khona emarket sitabuka indzaba leti ichamuka ngaphandle kwakuleli.
Pay your TV license quickly and easily with MTN Momo. Simply dial *007 *3 hash and select option 8 for TV license. Enter your national ID number as your reference and the amount you wish to pay. Then enter your PIN to confirm your payment. Once your payment has been made, you'll receive a confirmation SMS of your payment. If you're a first-time payer, you get another SMS for your TV license. So legalize your entertainment from the comfort of your home. Pay your TV license the easy and convenient way with MTN Momo.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back. You're also watching Kusile Breakfast Show. At this moment, we shall take a look at international stories. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said Thursday she's stepping down as New Zealand's leader and will not contest general elections set for October.
I'm entering now my 6th year in office, and for each of these years, I have given my absolute all. I believe that leading a country is the most privileged job anyone could ever have, but also one of the more challenging. You cannot and should not do it unless you have a full tank, plus a bit in reserve for those unexpected challenges. This summer, I had hoped to find a way to prepare not just for another year, but another term, because that is what this year requires. I have not been able to do that. And so today I'm announcing that I will not be seeking re-election, and that my term as Prime Minister will conclude no later than the 7th of February.
A rich Britain is among a group of millionaires in Davos pushing for governments to tax those like him more in order to bridge a wealth gap he warns is fragmenting the world.
Tax us and tax us now. The plea of more than 200 millionaires in an open letter addressed to world leaders and other members of the global elite gathered in Davos.
The current lack of action is gravely concerning. A meeting of the global elite in Davos to discuss cooperation in a fragmented world is pointless if you aren't challenging the root cause of division. Now is the time to tackle extreme wealth. Now is the time to tax the ultra-rich.
The signatories include American actor Mark Ruffalo, Abigail and Tim Disney, a grandniece and nephew of the famed American producer, and Danish-Iranian entrepreneur Jafar Shalchi. While most come from the US and the UK, 13 countries are represented, including France. Still, French Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire saw the letter as an opportunity to brag about his country's tax system.
They're welcome here. They'll have the right to one of the highest tax rates in any developed country. Let me remind you that if you're a millionaire in France, you have a marginal tax rate at 45%. So come to France. Believe me, we know how to tax you.
But the so-called patriotic millionaires behind the letter would say that's not enough. In a report co-published with Oxfam and other groups, they note that a wealth tax ranging from 2 to 5% on the world's millionaires and billionaires would raise over $2.5 trillion annually, enough to lift over 2 billion people out of poverty and provide universal health care for all citizens of low and middle-income countries. In France, such an additional tax would raise enough to plug the retirement deficit, making the government's controversial reform unnecessary.
Ukraine's interior minister died on Wednesday in a helicopter crash near the capital that killed more than a dozen other people, including children.
The husk of a helicopter lies scattered across this street to the east of Kyiv. It crashed down near a nursery, killing the Ukrainian Interior Ministry's top leadership who were on board, plus a number of others, including children.
There was a loud noise right here over this house. And then some moments later, there was an explosion, a big flame. The helicopter caught fire.
Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said an investigation was underway, while Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky described it as a tragedy.
Today, a terrible tragedy occurred in Bravary in the Kyiv region. A state emergency services helicopter crashed and a fire broke out at the crash site. The pain is unspeakable.
The helicopter was en route to the front line in East Ukraine. Interior Minister Denis Monastyrsky, who was killed in the crash, is the most senior official to have died since the Russian invasion 11 months ago. His deputy Yevhen Yenin and State Secretary Yuri Lubkovich were also killed. It happened just days after the deadliest attack on civilians since last spring, when a Russian missile strike hit an apartment block in southeast Ukraine.
Rescuers called off the search on Tuesday for victims of the Russian missile strike in the city of Dnipro, with 20 people still missing and funerals being held in the grief-stricken Ukrainian city. Ukrainian authorities said on Tuesday the Russian strike in the eastern city of Dnipro at the weekend killed at least 45 people, including 6 children.
Burying their dead, mourners gathered in Dnipro to say their farewells to those killed in a Russian missile strike on Saturday. One of the funerals being held was for respected local boxing coach Mikhailo Koronovsky. Family and friends remembered him as a loving father who was a role model to those he trained.
Our sports school, the city, the region. To be honest, the whole country was proud of his achievements and of his students' achievements.
Koronovsky lived with his family in the 9-story apartment block that was reduced to rubble after being struck by a Russian missile. These images show a birthday celebration in their kitchen, now a testimony to shattered lives after the external wall was torn off in the airstrike. Koronovsky's wife and 2 daughters survived because they weren't at home during the attack. Rescue workers who have been frantically combing through the rubble looking for survivors called off their search on Tuesday. The toll from the strike on the apartment block is one of the deadliest since Russia invaded Ukraine nearly a year ago. Residents in Dnipro gathered near the wreckage to hold a rally, asking the West to provide Ukraine with more air defense systems and long-range rockets.
We need our Western partners to help us in some way, to be able to intercept these missiles.
We urge you to help us, because the threat is huge and every day we suffer from this.
Meanwhile, mourners continue to leave flowers and stuffed toys at a makeshift memorial near the destroyed apartment block.
When dozens of defense ministers meet at an airbase in Germany on Friday, all eyes will be set on what Berlin is and is not willing to provide Ukraine. The focus is expected to be not on what the United States will provide, but on whether Germany will send its Leopard battle tanks to Ukraine or at least approve their transfer from third countries.
Following anti-tank missiles, drones, light armoured vehicles and Caesar self-propelled howitzers, the delivery of tanks now marks a new phase in Western aid. The UK was first to promise 14 of its Challenger 2 models, equipped with a powerful and precise 120mm tank gun. They've proven their worth on the ground, particularly in Iraq. Western countries have been reluctant to send heavyweight tanks, fearing an escalation with Russia. But the conflict is setting in for the long term, and Ukraine keeps asking for more sophisticated weapons.
It's much more modern and it's been upgraded many, many more times. So everything about the tank has been upgraded more times than the Russian tanks have been upgraded. So the engines have been upgraded, the gearboxes, the drivetrain, the gun, the armour, the optics, the signals, everything about it.
Poland says it's getting ready to send 14 German-made Leopard 2 tanks. For this, they need a green light from Berlin, which is still hesitating over its own envoy. Could these reinforcements change the power balance on the ground? Experts say it's possible at a local level, but Ukraine estimates the need for at least 300 tanks to break through all Russian lines. And with the arsenal comes the need to train soldiers to use them and to maintain such a varied fleet.
When we have Challenger, Leopard and AMX-10 RC tanks, they just don't have the same design or equipment. So mechanics are needed who are capable of maintaining these tanks. So that means much more maintenance is needed, and logistics are an essential tool in the war.
Will France send its own Leclerc tanks? Nothing's set in stone. Ukraine's allies are set to meet in Germany this Friday. This stepping up of Western mobilization has sparked fury from Moscow, which has pledged to burn the Western tanks.
Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte signaled his intention on Tuesday during a meeting with President Joe Biden to follow Germany in its delivery of US-made Patriot air defense missiles to Ukraine. Germany announced on January 5 that it was following the United States in sending one of the advanced missile defense batteries to Ukraine.
Mobile and capable of firing between 4 and 16 missiles in succession, with a range of 160 kilometers. This is the American Patriot air defense system. On Tuesday, the Netherlands announced that they will join the United States and Germany in helping to equip Ukraine with the defense system. According to Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, this would not be a complete Patriot system, but rather equipment to supplement American and German aid. Volodymyr Zelensky, for his part, is trying to put pressure on the Dutch Prime Minister by announcing the sending of a full battery.
Ukraine will receive another Patriot battery, thanks to our Dutch friends. We already have 3 guaranteed batteries, but this is only the beginning. We are working on new solutions to strengthen our air defense.
The announcement was made just a few days after the Russian strike on the city of Dnipro, one of the deadliest since the beginning of the war. Equipped with an extremely powerful radar, capable of detecting missiles at more than 100 kilometers, the Patriot system would make it possible to counter future Russian air attacks. But 90 soldiers must be taught how to use the very complex device. On Sunday, dozens of Ukrainian troops landed in the United States to receive their training.
Soldiers from the Ukrainian Armed Forces have arrived here at the Fire Center of Excellence at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, to begin air defense training. This training will consist of operator and maintainer tasks for the Patriot air defense system.
Even if they are effective, the Patriot missiles will not be able to cover all of Ukraine, which means that Kyiv will have to choose the areas and infrastructures it wishes to protect as a priority.
The trial in absentia of Belarus opposition leader Svetlana began in Minsk on Tuesday, part of a crackdown by strongman President Alexander on critics who challenged his three-decade rule. The 40-year-old activist, who was forced during protests that followed the vote to leave Belarus for neighboring Lithuania, a European Union country, has become the face of Belarusian democratic forces.
It's in this Minsk courthouse that Svetlana Tikhanovskaya is being tried in absentia for high treason and other charges, some of which she says she doesn't even know of, for she's never been able to speak to her lawyer. She's been refused access to court documents, and she's not allowed to participate via video in the closed-door trial. In exile for the past 2.5 years, since spearheading massive pro-democracy protests in Belarus, the 40-year-old spoke to world leaders in Davos. She says her trial is just one of many attempts by Alexander Lukashenko to crack down on dissidents.
These trials are not trials at all. It's shows, it's farce, but it has nothing to do with justice at all. So it's personal revenge of Lukashenko, of his cronies, not only on me, but on other people who are opposing him.
The high-profile trial is far from the only one. Her husband, whose presidential aspirations were cut short after being arrested and sentenced to 18 years in prison, saw new charges levied on him on Monday. The jailed Nobel Prize winner Ales Bialatsky is also in the dock on charges of funding opposition movements. And the trial of Polish-Belarusian journalist Andrzej Poczobut has also begun. He too is facing 12 years behind bars for criticizing Lukashenko's regime. Europe's High Commissioner of Foreign Affairs, Josep Borrell, raised the alarm in a statement, saying the regime's repression has reached an unprecedented level. Human rights groups estimate that over 1,400 people are in prison in Belarus for politically motivated reasons.
A key suspect in a spreading EU graft scandal, former Italian MEP Pier Antonio Panzeri, has cut a deal to divulge information about countries involved and bribes made, Belgian prosecutors said on Tuesday. The development was a dramatic turn in the corruption scandal in which prosecutors suspect Qatar and Morocco funneled bribes through Panzeri and other figures to influence decisions in the European Parliament.
Dusting itself off after a corruption scandal that rocked the foundations of the European Parliament, on Wednesday it will elect a new vice president. The title was previously held by Greek MEP Eva Kaili, who in December was detained on charges of corruption and money laundering. Also arrested was her partner Francesco Giorgi, a parliamentary assistant, and Italian ex-MEP Pier Antonio Panzeri, also the president of the NGO Fight Impunity, who's now collaborating with the authorities. During a raid conducted on several homes and offices, Belgian authorities reportedly found bags of cash at Kaili's residence. A total of 600,000 euros was recovered. The money is alleged to be from Qatar as a bribe to influence policy in the European Parliament, something that the Gulf state vehemently denies. But Kaili in the past has fiercely defended Qatar.
ILO said that Qatar is a front-runner in labor rights, abolishing kafala and reducing minimum wage, despite the challenges that even European companies are denying to enforce these laws. They are a new generation of intelligent, high-educated people.
The probe into the scandal has grown in recent weeks. And on Monday, the European Parliament began a month-long procedure to waive the immunity of Italian lawmaker Andrea Kusile and Belgian Mark Tarabella. The two are wanted for questioning by Belgian authorities. Disentangling the web of scandal will take time, and the Parliament's president is doing her best to maintain the organisation's reputation.
This European Parliament prides itself on its openness, its accessibility, and its defence of legislating in the public eye. We are not in some imaginary ivory tower. We will strengthen our systems, address any shortcomings, and be honest and open throughout this process. And we will do all of this while protecting the freedom of our mandate as elected representatives.
Last Thursday, she met the heads of the Parliament's 9 political groups to discuss a reforms package geared towards more transparency.
President Joe Biden is facing a Department of Justice investigation following last week's revelation that documents with classified markings were found in his home and office.
It's been a rough week for the White House since news broke that documents with classified markings from the Obama-Biden administration were found in President Joe Biden's think tank and home as early as November 2nd, before the midterm elections.
This legal matter, I would refer you to the White House counsel office. I'm going to leave it there. Not going to go into further.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre promised transparency while refusing to provide details, citing the ongoing Department of Justice investigation. Experts say that mishandling of classified documents is a common problem in a country where several million officials have security clearances. Infractions are usually handled administratively.
The legal liability exposure to President Biden is slim to none so long as the facts don't change. It's messaging that is really the most important now. So the fact that they withheld knowledge of the second finding of documents at the president's residence when they full knew that this had happened, because it had happened 4 weeks or so earlier, that was an incredible blunder.
Last week, Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed Robert Hur as special counsel to oversee the investigation. The former U.S. attorney was nominated in 2017 by then-President Donald Trump, who is also under investigation on accusations of mishandling classified documents. The FBI found dozens of sensitive records at Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in August, executing a search warrant issued after he ignored requests for months to return them. Republicans accuse Biden and Democrats of applying a double standard.
He criticized President Trump. Did he utilize the Justice Department to raid President Trump? Did you think that was right? They knew this has happened to President Biden before the election, but they kept it a secret from the American public.
Republicans, who now hold a slim majority in the House of Representatives, have promised their own investigation, including on potential damage to national security. The White House dismissed the notion that allies are concerned the administration is unable to handle national secrets.
Our allies and partners are much more concerned about the common threats and challenges that we face around the world, whether that's from Russian aggression in Ukraine to China's aggressiveness in the Indo-Pacific region.
Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News, Washington.
As the coronavirus pandemic enters its fourth year, the United States is grappling with a new subvariant of COVID-19 called XBB 1.5, and China is reporting a spike in cases following the dismantling of its zero-COVID policy.
It's been 3 years since the coronavirus emerged from Wuhan, China, spread across the globe, and then evolved through many mutations and variants. Despite decent herd immunity and strong vaccination rates in the U.S., a highly contagious subvariant, XBB.1.5, is keeping medical researchers alert.
It's part of the Omicron larger family, but it is one that has really taken hold here in the U.S. and is now estimated to cause about 40% of all of COVID-19 cases in the country right now.
Americans have seen sicknesses rise during winter months, with the combination of flu, respiratory illnesses like RSV, and the coronavirus sometimes overwhelming hospital systems. Experts think that flu and RSV infections have already peaked and the coronavirus is milder than past variants, but they warn that people and healthcare systems must keep vigilant.
The bottom line is that COVID is here to stay. Healthcare systems need to be more resilient, need to address staffing challenges in nursing and other areas. People need to get vaccinated against flu and COVID. People who are concerned or at risk or when there's a lot of spread need to consider masking up in certain indoor places. So this is the new normal.
In China, though, it's a different story. The government is just beginning to report high numbers of COVID-19 deaths following a relaxation of its zero COVID policy, which put huge restraints on people's movement.
So you have a population that mostly hasn't been exposed to COVID before, and therefore very few people have immunity from infection, have either not been vaccinated or have had a vaccine that doesn't work very well, and are now being allowed to go and roam free without the restrictions that they've had for the last couple of years. And that is a very incendiary combination of factors.
China's loosening policies are now coming more in line with the rest of the world, where there's a growing view that COVID-19 will be managed along with seasonal illnesses. Laurel Bowman, VOA News, Washington.
In his meeting with Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte on Tuesday at the White House, President Joe Biden appeared to have made no progress to get the Netherlands to support the U.S. restrictions on exporting chip-making technology to China, a key part of Washington's strategy in its rivalry against Beijing.
These tiny semiconductor chips are key in the battle for tech supremacy, and the U.S. wants to make it harder for Chinese companies to access them. President Joe Biden is trying to persuade leaders of ally countries to join the U.S. chips technology export ban to China, including Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, whom he hosted at the White House Tuesday.
Together, we're working on how to keep a free and open Indo-Pacific and, quite frankly, meet the challenges of China. Simply put, our countries have been so far in just lockstep in what we've done and our vision for the future. And so today I look forward to discussing how we can further deepen our relationship and securing our supply chains to strengthen our transatlantic partnership.
The Netherlands is home to ASML, producer of the world's most advanced semiconductor lithography systems required to manufacture the most advanced chips. Biden wants the Netherlands to support the U.S. chips ban to China launched in October, but it appears no progress was made in his meeting with Rutte.
Well, we don't push any of our allies or our partners. We consult with them closely, and they make their own decisions.
U.S. efforts to cut off critical technology supplies to China began under the Trump administration. Biden is trying to consolidate allies behind the effort, especially those with companies that play key roles in the industry's supply chain. Last week, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said he backs Biden's attempt, but did not agree to match the sweeping restrictions.
This is a major shift, and so there needs to be coordination across, because this impacts a very complex supply chain that spans the world. It's a major realignment, it's a major rewiring. And so there are a lot of details within that broader strategic shift that have to be worked out.
Meanwhile, Rutte did not mention the semiconductor issue, focusing instead on Russia's invasion on Ukraine, where the NATO allies have been working together to support Kyiv.
Let's stay closely together this year, and hopefully things will move forward in a way which is acceptable for Ukraine.
In July, the U.S. Congress passed the CHIPS Act, which provides $52 billion to boost domestic semiconductor manufacturing, design, and research. Beijing is also investing heavily. In 2015, it laid out plans to invest $1.4 trillion in advanced technologies, aiming to achieve 70% self-sufficiency in semiconductors by 2025. Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News, Washington.
Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg was hauled away and briefly detained on Tuesday during a protest near a German village being razed to make way for a local mine expansion, police said. Thunberg has been in Germany for several days to support protests against the demolition of Lützerath.
Chants of encouragement by protesters for Greta Thunberg as she's carried away by police officers. The 20-year-old climate activist was detained by authorities at a demonstration near Lützerath, a village in western Germany that is being demolished for the expansion of a coal mine. It was all smiles, though, as Greta posed for photos and later a thumbs up on a police bus. The Swedish campaigner, along with other protesters, had gathered at Gardsweiler mine, which got its name from the first village to be razed to make way for it. Police said they intervened after a group, including Greta, had rushed towards the ledge of the mine and that one person had jumped in. Lützerath, long deserted by its former inhabitants ahead of its demolition, has found itself at the centre of a fierce debate in Germany about the country's use of coal. Greta has been very vocal in her criticism of Germany's coalition government.
That the German governments are making deals and compromises with fossil fuel companies such as the RWE is shameful. It shows us exactly where we are. It shows us their priorities. It is not people. It is profits.
A police spokesperson said Greta had not been formally arrested but was briefly kept in police custody. It's the second time she's been removed by authorities since joining protests last week.
In India's desert state of Rajasthan, farmers have long cultivated only hardy crops that could survive the arid conditions and intense temperature variations. But using modern farming techniques, some farmers are experimenting with growing more exotic crops.
These farm workers have slowly picked up the skills of nurturing exotic vegetables they never thought would thrive in India's desert state of Rajasthan, where soaring summer temperatures and paucity of water scorch the land. Rajnoosh Agarwal, a widely travelled engineer, began growing plants such as bell peppers, cherry tomatoes and strawberries on his family farm to get produce that was never available in his hometown, Jodhpur. The venture was launched 2 years ago during the COVID-19 pandemic.
You know, if you had to eat a burger and you wanted lettuce, there was no lettuce. If you wanted, let's say, to make a stir fry, there was nothing really here to be able to cook something. So we said, okay, why don't we grow our own veggies?
There was a learning curve in greening the desert with exotics. Modern farming techniques such as drip irrigation helped conserve water in a region where water table levels are very low. With temperatures touching 50 degrees Celsius during the summer, many plants grow in greenhouses.
They help us in reducing temperature, increase humidity, control moisture. We've got sprinklers in the greenhouse wherein we can do fogging from the top, and which allows us to lower down the temperatures.
Many of these workers, accustomed to growing only the hardiest crops in the desert climate, had never heard of the vegetables they now nurture.
I learned how to work with different plants in the polyhouse, and I also learned their names.
I had knowledge of nurturing crops in greenhouses and polyhouses, but it is here that I picked up the skills of growing exotic vegetables.
The venture's launch during the pandemic ironically helped grow business as people's focus turned on health and raised demand for fresh produce.
It's not a fad, it's something that's here to stay.
For his wife, the farm venture, which she also oversees, is a welcome change from her work as a human resource professional.
This taps more of my creative energy, and being so close to nature is obviously something that everyone enjoys.
Experts are optimistic that ventures like this will encourage more farmers to use modern techniques and diversify into crops that could raise incomes in one of India's lesser developed states, where the economy is still primarily agricultural. Anjana Pasricha for VOA News, New Delhi.
It's half past 7. Sibukela lapho ngaphandle kwakuleli. We'll take a break. Nasibuya siqhubeka nehlelo asenshini esemasolulo.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Now, when most parents start curating extracurricular activities for their children, they start with the typical basics like soccer or say sports in general. However, due to technological advancements we have seen in recent years, parents introducing their kids to learning digital literacy, nomage e-computer literacy, particularly e-coding, which has spread like wildfire among parenting groups and educational centers. Now, the interest in computer science has skyrocketed in recent years, and as a result, according to statistics shared in the 2019 State of Computer Science, Education, Equity and Diversity report, a full 45% of high schools now teach computer science, up from the 25% that was reported by Gallup in 2014. Now, in our increasingly digital world, parents want their kids to become computer literate and know how to code proficiently, but why is this so important? Bongagile Shiba is the director at Techno Friends Eswatini, which is an initiative aimed at helping Eswatini children acquire digital skills. She joins me now with one of their students, 11-year-old Sianza Fagutse. Very good morning to the both of you, and thank you very much indeed for joining us, Lomusla.
Thank you so much, Eswiso.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Bongagile, I think before just sicale singene kubo coding kakhulu, I want you to give us a brief overview ekuthini what is Techno Friends Eswatini.
Friends is an extracurricular activity which was founded in 2020 to teach children computer coding skills. That's basically what we do.
Now, for umbukeli longadi kahle coding, what is coding?
Coding is basically giving a computer an instruction and telling it what to do, which is basically turn left, turn right, draw a circle, move forward, repeat this instruction several times. And then through that, they then create artworks, they create stories, they make a lot of projects from that foundational instructions.
Okay. You join me now today with this 11-year-old, this adorable 11-year-old Sianza Fagutse.
Very intelligent.
I want to assume the things that she just mentioned in the coding, she is now savvy of that. So yakona good tender. Sianza, how are you finding coding, and when did you join Techno Friends Eswatini?
I find coding very fun, and I joined Techno Friends in 2021.
What have you learned since that period?
Well, I've learned how to make websites. I have learned how to make stories, the basics of making stories, and I've learned how to make games.
That is interesting. I'll come back to you, Sianza. I want us to delve deeper into that. Is there a syllabus leniyilandzelago manje bafundisa letinfo leti noma nje niya freestyle? Ngoba I want to assume nebantu labaningi bangakhi vele.
Definitely. Okay, our enrollment now, we have taught over 100 students, that is 125 since we have started in Swaziland. We definitely do have a curriculum.
Okay.
It is an international curriculum that is used by over 18 million other 80 million of other users from all over the world.
Wow.
Yes. So from the curriculum, there's the basics, there's the intermediate, there's the advanced lessons. Within the curriculum, there are exercises to be done. There's exams to be done as well, and creative exercises to be done. So it's a formal structure. Yes. So we can't just freestyle.
Yeah. I want to come back to Sianza. Sianza, you speak of knowing how to create websites now, animation. Just motivate me to learn how to code and take me through a simple step of creating a website. It doesn't have to be very technical.
Okay. Yeah. I make my website in code.org.
Okay.
It is a coding platform where we learn how to make different things. I personally like making websites there. First thing you need to know is how to make a header. There's different sizes, and you must specifically say at the beginning of each one. Then you place the header, then you put the paragraphs in it. And then in CSS, a different folder in the HTML is where you can decorate your website.
Okay, okay. That is very interesting. She speaks of CSS. This is a language bengiva amongst my peers in tertiary, and to learn that she's only 11, that's amazing. Bayashoge, when I do my research, could see about 90% of the most successful people within the industry, your digital literacy, your computer literacy, your coding, bantu labayifunza before the age of 10. So therefore, I do see the importance in this initiative. But I just want to hear from you. Yini bumqoka lobukhulu lobonaka kutheni bafunze at grassroots level. Thina itolo nasikhula besidlala emaplango, siphusha amathai, sidlala ibhola, sebe amafruits, bekuhlukile nje i-upbringing yethu. Our fun was different, but leyabo nangabe sekufunza into efana. Why is it so important to learn at grassroots level?
What I've noticed that the mind of a child is like a sponge or soil. In between the years of 3 and 12, they're still curious and willing to learn and exploring, to find their ways and trying new things. So it's easy for them to learn these skills and want to create and want to participate. And then after that age, it then becomes a little bit challenging because their mind is already programmed into what they want and they don't want. So the younger ones are more successful than when they come in late, for example, in high school. Yes. The primary school ones are very successful in their coding lessons.
No, Bongagile, naliqala lihlelo lethu namuhla, I think, and about 30 to 45 minutes into the show, our producers bebafaka clips la fundzisa cryptocurrency, afundisa Bitcoin, about data science, and what we noticed with Lungelele is the linkage ekutheni all these things are now digital. They are all online. And you can just imagine, Gutsi, if you are not digitally savvy, catch up because that is the direction that the world has decided to take. So quite interesting information there. Now, Sianza, I just want to hear from you. What other benefits do you feel like you are acquiring from, or rather you are getting from learning coding with techno friends that you can apply elsewhere outside of coding?
Problem solving. You can understand questions faster and you know how to come up with a solution also faster.
Wow, interesting. What do you have to say? What other skills do you see them acquiring outside of problem solving? I know there's a host of skills, soft skills, hard skills that they can acquire.
Critical thinking, there's collaborative work not just within themselves in the classroom, but with people from all over the world. Like our students collaborate with students from Japan, from America. They come together, create studios, create competitions within their community. So that also translates to the world of business, because if you have your project already made in your account, you want it to be seen by other people. So you have to promote it and market it in a language that is not direct advertising. You just have to network and build friendships for them to come and see your page and see your work and promote it. Because when your project now has a lot of views and a lot of following, you can then monetize it in other platforms. So that skill of marketing and business starts from a very young age, where you have to practice networking and talking politely to people you do not know.
Interesting.
To market your work.
Yes. Now, I do recall a competition that you guys launched around Science Week. Tell us about that competition and what really was up for grabs for the kids.
The competition is still ongoing. We launched it in Computer Science Week, December. For the next celebration, we want to award them with laptops, which is a gift that they can actually use and benefit better from it than in preciously award that you're going to keep in on a table. So the participants now are creating projects in their accounts. The projects that has used a complex code shows and covers a lot of the skills that we are talking about, then that's a winning project that shows that you have applied all the coding principles that we have taught you in the classroom.
Now, Sianza, I want to come back to you. What is the biggest challenge that you find with learning how to code and just computer science, really?
When you make a mistake in coding, you have to look through the entire page of code just to find one comma, one full stop, one exclamation mark that you didn't put in. And it could take hours or just 30 minutes just to find that one.
And now you see what I'm learning from that is a very important skill that you will need in life, and that is to be meticulous and to be very, aware of what you're doing. So I suppose that is something that you learn from that. You can't afford to make a mistake. If you speak about going back to an entire code that you started a long time ago, so that is interesting to me. Now I also want to find out, what do you want to say to others who do not take tech classes like you?
I would suggest them to take coding classes, because one, the more we go into the future, the more you have to learn how to code, the more engineers will need, and the more you actually have to understand the foundation of coding. Since there's cryptocurrency, you have to at least know how it works, how it functions. And let's say you want to go work at Tesla or Apple or Microsoft. This would be a very good opportunity for you to learn how to code.
You speak of Tesla. Is Elon Musk one of the people that you look up to?
Yes.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a robotic engineer or a software engineer.
Interesting. Good luck there. I want to come back to you, Bongagile. Just tell us some of the challenges and perhaps prospects for the future as the enrollment increases, good techno friends.
As the organization grows, then there is more demand for more teachers. So now we're not looking into just training the children. We are looking into training teachers who will help the children go through the curriculum. So we are busy writing proposals, asking for help on that regard. That any teachers who are interested in taking this as their line of work, we are ready to take on that challenge and expand and grow. Yes.
And I can just, see the good possibilities that come with that in terms of, job opportunities.
Job creation,
but how
yes.
fertile really is the environment for that kind of industry in Eswatini as you look at those prospects, as you look at the future? How are the opportunities looking for you? How much are the challenges in setting up something like that in terms of expansion?
I would say the ground is fertile. As long as you have Wi-Fi and a computer at home, you can pretty much achieve anything. Yes. So it's a solution for teachers who are currently waiting to go into the government system.
Yeah.
That, you know what, with your skills, you already have the training in education. Now let's utilize it in this way. Just focus at one child at a time and train that child to be the best in what they do. So, yes.
Yeah. Now, Sianza, I just want to know, amongst your peers, how many of your friends do you have who you code with, and how important is it to have friends who are also in the same thing that you do with regards to coding? How much do you guys share information?
Quite a lot, most especially on Scratch. So I think it's important to have friends on a coding platform because they can help you grow, they can give you new forms of information, and as teacher already said, collaboration is also very important in this. So having friends would be very good for that.
Now I want you to implore parents who have kids as old as you, who are younger than you, to get their kids into coding so that the community can grow.
Yeah, getting your kid into coding would be a very good idea. Yeah. As already mentioned, they at least need to know the basics of coding. Okay. So when they are older, they can understand things like crypto and stocks.
Interesting. Well, Bongagile, thank you so much. Before Nvalelise, anything else that you may want to add?
Appreciation and gratitude for the support we have been receiving so far since we started, from the parents that are supporting us and encouraging us to grow. We are growing, and there's still a lot that it's still in the pipeline. We are in the front line of the revolution. Yeah. We are discovering new things on how we can find solutions to our existing problems. So it's a lovely journey. And
speaking of things that are in the pipeline, care to share some of the things that you haven't shared with any other media outlet?
We are building a computer coding and robotics facility in the rural areas in Ngwenyamen.
Sorry, where?
Ngwenyamen, okay. So the whole idea behind that facility is that we are decentralizing from urban centers. That technology is not only in the urban areas. Yeah. We are moving into the rural areas. As long as we have internet and computers, we'll be able to connect with the rest of the world from there. So we're moving back to the communities on that project, yes. And then the facilitators for those workshops that will be happening there will obviously be the Sianzas, because they are already equipped. Then they can invite other learners to come for camping, and then there we open our laptops, we do our fun activities in person and on the computers. So we're pretty excited about it.
Very interesting there, and I just
Thank
love
you.
how much it is right in alignment with government's vision as well to decentralize services to the rural areas so that bahambe kanye kanye nabasemadolobheni labaphucukile lithuthukele live la kangwane kanye kanye. Ngiyafuna ukunivalelisa nge-insert le ngicabanga ukuthi itanijabulisa kakhulu. Our producers have prepared an insert le qhamuka le eKenya le hambelana nje nekucoda ake sibabuke khona eKenya ukuthi khona abacoda kanjani.
Herding communities such as this in northern Kenya's Isiolo County don't have access to education, but the government and some aid agencies are stepping in to make a difference by introducing digital literacy programs in schools located in remote regions. The goal, they say, is to equip this generation of pastoralists with skills for modern jobs, like teaching them coding.
There's no way for them to be exposed. It's difficult for them to have trips to take them to areas where they can see technology. There's no mobile network here, so it's just not possible. They don't have television, they don't have smartphones in their homes, and so technology is just a strange thing to them. So bringing it in the classroom really makes that child feel empowered.
14-year-old Christine Kinyaga is one of the children benefiting from the program. She says her exposure to the training helped her realize that there are other opportunities beyond pastoralism.
Education is good. It will help me in my life. I had not been sent to school. I was just always herding my father's goats. One day, my elder brother questioned why I was herding instead of going to school. My father did not want me to come to school.
Easing dependence on pastoralism in favor of education here is a long shot, but some elders in the community like John Paradusea believe it is necessary in the wake of a growing population and climatic conditions that are putting pressure on natural resources.
In this area, there are almost no cows because there is nothing to graze. As soon as the green grass comes up, it is all eaten, and when the grass is gone, our wealth goes too because the number of people is increasing and grazing land is now getting smaller.
Keeping the students in school is hard for these communities, and the state authorities say they're finding ways to encourage them to attend classes, including initiatives to feed them.
We also offer incentives in terms of providing food. That is a school meals program, whereby they have 1 meal per day. And this one helps to bring these kids to school. Actually, some of them come simply because they know they are going to have that 1 meal per day.
Herders in at least 23 schools in northern Kenya have access to the digital education programs. Authorities say they hope to extend the initiative to more schools in marginalized regions in the future. Victoria Amunga for VOA News, Isiolo, Kenya.
Right, welcome back. It's only 5 minutes before 8 o'clock. Just to touch on my highlights on Wednesday is World Economic Forum at Davos on the 20th, which is tomorrow on Friday. My highlights on Wednesday, Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla said the world is unprepared for the next global health crisis, and also US-EU race to offer a clean energy subsidies will speed up efforts to combat climate change.
I think what's very important lapho lungelele ukuthi uyayibona le linkage nabasolo bagcizelela nje nababuya COP27 ukuthi climate change iyakongeta ukugula la emhlabeni. In fact, it is exacerbating diseases, viruses. Nagatige Pfizer CEO, we are unprepared for the next global health crisis. Ngiyacabanga lo ukuthi ikhona le linkage and ngiyakhombisa ukuthi these discussions labasolo bathi khuluma lo mnyangathi why bakhuluma nge-climate change in every forum ngoba cishe onke ama-summit la bekhona last year there was the climate change summit, there was another summit right after that. Climate change was a trending topic amongst as key priorities to combat. We are ukuthi le linkage ikhona and it is concerning kuba these sentiments from Yona Pfizer CEO ekuthenini we are unprepared for the next health crisis. Ba implorisha ke ministries of health nebetempilo World Health Organization ukuthi ba nyuse bo preparedness nabo response babo ukuthi nje bahlale bawona alert mode nabo watch mode njengoba bekavedile na vusiloko tfako itolo ukuthi these are some of the things labadikatsako.
Yeah, you can also follow the World Economic Forum at Tinzabeni Tetekumanje Titlualugan in Plabeni France 24, this Al Jazeera, Bakubega again, a broadcaster, Logo Labak Solo Baku Discasa, Gio Lomtania Pelagexasa on the 20th of January. Sesimo to good and Lotak phones are logo Labago Kulumagas because my topics Laba Lega Kula, Latin Sam Laba Wonke, Tinzabele deleting it for Kona World Economic Forum.
Kanije sesivala lungelele lenye indzaba labayikhulumisa ihamba embili ngiyo indzaba ye global recession le ngathi ke ihlongota kuba khona la emhlabeni which is going to be a global recession yaqala in a lot of years solo nje imave emhlaba athuthuka into ke lethusa kakhulu lena which is why bayibeka as one of their main objectives ekuthenini emave emhlaba angasebenzisana kanjani ekutheni singa experience lenye i global recession but noma ke sebabona lo ukuthi ngathi vele seyikhona sta experience what are some of the measures they can put in place ekuthenini ingasi affect kakhulu singama different economists imbonile ke naye Mr. Dr. Philimnisi lapha e Central Bank abusy ayile nje nase Washington eminyakeni lophelile ayobuka some of the ways la ngabuya lapha eveni our implement ekutheni live Eswatini liphephe kuyo i global recession.
Right, it's 2 minutes before 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely day.
Kuleli viki siphathele ihlophisile shokwe. Kanye na Yoli Bradlutlu. Uphuthelwa ngelisonto nga-8:30 AM on Eswatini TV na ku YouTube. We praise, to God be the glory.
Lifestyle is about attitude, values, interests, and behaviors. And this is Eswatini Lifestyle, the show that shares stories of incredible people, events, businesses, and tastes that are meant to inspire Emaswati.
Be bold. Eswatini Lifestyle is Eswatini's premium lifestyle magazine show. We aspire to inspire.